morning guys, Steve Brown from Swansea Creatives. This morning we're down here at the BNI Group and I've been fortunate enough to grab Kevin, who's actually runs a progressive property network in Swansea, and we're just going to talk about it. So exactly what is this network?
The Progressive Property Network meeting, it's as the name suggests, it's a networking meeting, and it's aimed around property. So people that come to the meeting are property investors,
right.
would-be property investors, so people that want to learn how to invest in property.
Right.
That's one of the things that we're really keen to do, is to help teach people how to learn how to invest in property, as we do, Caroline and I, my other half. And then we've got professionals in the industry, so that come to the meeting, so your accountants, your mortgage brokers, your bankers, your finance providers, all the people that somebody might need in one place to actually progress with their property investing.
Well, you've frightened me already now, right?
Okay.
Because when you say the word property investor, I automatically envisage now I've got to have £100,000 to go and buy somewhere, and then I've got to be able to pay for all these fees of all these property people. So how does it actually work?
Well, there's lots of different ways of investing in property. Right. One way is to have a chunk of money in your bank and to use that for investing in property. What we quite like teaching is the ways to invest in property where you don't need lots of upfront money.
Okay.
So
that sounds more interesting to me.
Yeah, and we deal with people that actually come to us that are completely in debt,
right.
A lot of it in debt, so we can. We know how to get out of debt using property,
right.
And then push forward. So you don't necessarily have to have lots of upfront money in order to start.
Okay.
So there's lots of different ways of doing it.
Yeah.
We haven't got time here to explain each one, but there are ways and means.
Okay, so that confuses me now, right? And I'll tell you why it confuses me, because I'm sure, like most people, you see all these property programs on TV, and the guy buys a property on, I don't know, at an auction or something, they do it up and then they sell it or rent it, etc. So you're saying to me there's lots of different ways of doing the property investing and actually moving it forward to actually build up a portfolio of properties?
Yeah, well, I mean, so I'll talk about a couple of different ways of doing it. If, let's say, for instance, you don't have your own money.
Yeah.
So you might have a bit of time to spend in property investing, and then somebody else might have some money but they haven't got the time.
Right.
So you could do a joint venture type scenario where you're using their money, and you essentially
your investment is the time.
Go and do the deal. Their money can be secured against the property, so that's fine, and you can be giving that person a lot more return on their investment than they're getting with the bank.
Okay.
So they're happy, their money's secure, you're using their money, and it's a blank piece of paper in terms of the agreement with this investor that you draw up in terms of how much return on interest you're giving them on their money, over which time frame, etc. But you can then earn a significant amount of profit from that, either buying and keeping, buying and selling, etc. And everyone's happy. So that's one way of investing in property.
Right.
Another way of investing in property is there's plenty of people in negative equity. So they can't sell.
Right.
They want to sell, but they can't sell. So what you can do is you can take over that person's property, and it acts a little bit like a delayed completion. But you just take control of their property, and for instance, you could pay their mortgage. So their mortgage might be £300 per month.
Right.
You might be able to rent that house out for £500 a month.
Okay.
Obviously, the tenant that moves in and pays the £500 a month, they're paying the utilities and the council tax, etc., where the owner previously had to.
How's it paid all?
So the owner moves out, they're happy, they're no longer got the problem of this property, and then you can take over that and earn money from that.
Right.
You can secure the purchase price of that property. So let's say the mortgage is £100,000, but it's currently worth 90.
Right.
You might secure the purchase price of that property for £100,000, and then when the market gets to a level where the house is worth £100,000, you can exercise your option to buy the property at £100,000.
Right.
Or you could wait until the property is worth £130,000 and then exercise your option to buy at £100,000.
Right.
And that way you can obviously buy
Right.
it and then refinance it to get your deposit
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
So again, that's a way of acquiring property and earning money from property without having any money up front.
Okay. So I've got to say, right, this sounds very interesting, and I'm sure most people don't realise there's just so many different ways of doing
Absolutely.
it. So
You
I
won't
know you
learn it on Homes Under the Hammer.
That's right. So if they want to know more, how do they go about learning more? How do they get in contact with you when you have your meetings?
Well, we have our meeting on the third Tuesday of every month.
Yes.
In the Mercure Hotel in Llansamlet.
Yeah.
It starts at 6:30 in the evening.
Yeah.
Don't make the mistake of one of our people that thought it was a morning meeting.
Right.
They turned up at 6:30 in the morning. So 6:30 in the evening in the Mercure Hotel in Llansamlet.
Right.
And we actually, doors open 6:30, starts at 7, runs till 9.
Okay.
We have guest speakers from all over the country in the UK come each month to speak,
Okay.
as well as Caroline and I delivering content. It's free parking in the hotel. We lay on teas and coffee, and we like to make it a nice, fun, social evening.
Yeah.
We chat in the bar afterwards as well.
Okay, that sounds good to me. So, guys, this has been Steve Brown from Swansea Creators. I've been here with Kevin from Progressive Property Network, and we'll see you all in the next video.